And Sandy, this is the point at which you've been hearing concerns from local people, and the subject is the creation of mosques.
Yes, some people from Weston-super-Mare got in touch with me because I know there's cities of sanctuary or towns of sanctuary or councils of sanctuary all over England now. But Weston-super-Mare is a council of sanctuary, and they've received a planning permit. The people have realised there's a planning application going through for a very large building, a very large mosque, which is occupying three buildings in the centre of the town. And as you can see, and from the slide, it's a very big mosque, and actually, it's the biggest mosque between Bristol and Bridgewater. And what's interesting is that they're talking about the expansion of the population of Weston-super-Mare. So this is all part, as we know, of the plan that the government have for replacement migration. And, the people of the UK have always been incredibly tolerant of migration, of people coming and being accepted within our communities. So I don't believe that people are inherently racist here. Obviously, there are some. We've got Tommy Robinson whipping things up and Farage, but on average, I've looked at this 7-page document which has been put through to oppose this mosque. I'm just got the migration and, of course, it's all the 2030 agenda, as we know. All of this is a plan, and it's rolling out. And it's having the desired effect, because actually what they want is civil unrest. So we've got to be so careful. We've got to be very measured. And what I was impressed with was these people from Weston-super-Mare who have very, very valid reasons for questioning this particular planning application. They've produced a 7-page document to back up the petition that they raised of over 1,000 people against the planning application. It's right in the centre. It was the Residents' Association that did this. And I have to say, looking at it, it was a really, really considered and not inflammatory document. But it was put in the terms of the planning application for the mosque. The key thing is that North Somerset Council has removed all the comments about this planning application because they consider them offensive. That is because people were voicing genuine concerns, but they won't let anybody see the comments. So where is this coming from? So who's deciding what can and cannot be said here, and what is offensive? We don't know. The debate, is in the conversation, which nobody is allowed to have. Now, I don't believe that everyone in Weston-super-Mare is far right. There's an implication of that from the council here. So it does speak volumes. And the thing is, there should be dialogue on all this, and there hasn't been. And that's the main problem. It's all about speed, volume, and dialogue. There's been a lack of dialogue. And this whole programme is happening. I mean, the immigrant programme has been happening at great speed and at great volume, and that is the problem. It's not people being NIMBY or racist or anything else. It's people being genuinely concerned about what is happening in the UK, and we have to emphasise this. So the Residents' Association got in touch with me because they knew that the UK column could voice their concerns in a measured way, and hopefully this is what we're doing. So there's been a lack of transparency. It's all been rushed through. The people are reacting to this way, the way it's been handled. It's not that they're far right. The Council of Sanctuary is a national and international network, but most people in Weston-super-Mare have never heard of it. Why is this? And why is the Council of Sanctuary or the Cities of Sanctuary so secretive? So we have to look at all of this. So let's look at the City of Sanctuary Charter. Now this was brought in 2022 to 2025, and it seems to be financed by lots of NGOs, the National Lottery, all sorts of, it's very, very shady where it's all come from. And it's just kind of tipped up in all these cities of sanctuary. There's always an office for the city of sanctuary charter, and that they bring people in and they talk about stuff, but it's all about, we've got to be more inclusive, we've got to do this, and it's a lot of DEI, but there's no real dialogue about what is really happening, and that's what people are concerned about. So let's have a look at this. The next slide. Yeah, a lot of it's been brought through the National Planning Policy Framework, and again, it was first published in March 2012, and it really is. If I could have the next slide up. With that, it's all about. I'm just trying to read this because it's a bit small, but it says, it's. North Somerset has always been and always will continue to be a place that celebrates and welcomes ethnic and cultural diversity. Well, of course it is. But at the moment, this mosque, they're worried about it because it's going to be huge. It's going to be 24/7 with about, I think it's 341 it's got the capacity of 341 men, and the men have, a different entrance to the women. The men are going to be occupying this mainly, as it says on the planning application, that they removed all the comments, and people are worried. Also, it will encompass a morgue, a 24/7 morgue. But more than anything else, I think people are worried that this is a Sunni mosque, and that with the tensions that are already firing up with the secular stuff that's going on in France, the troubles that they're having in the migrant camps, between different sectarian facts. We've just got to look at what is really going on here, because people are worried because they've already taken in the Afghan population from when Kabul was very speedily evacuated, and they brought the Afghan migrants here who were involved with obviously the Western side. So you've got tension there. And people are worried about that, very rightly worried about that. Now, there's also the idea that this is a bit like, I think the government are really pushing this through different NGOs. I know Weston-super-Mare have got involved in the Sanctuary Awards. Now, this is all money-making stuff. I mean, it's all some kind of, you get government funding, you get awards for bringing lots of people in. And it seems to be very highly organised. So you've got the Sanctuary Awards, and they mention within the Sanctuary Awards, they mentioned the theory. Could I have the next slide, please? This is their values. They've got inclusivity, openness, participation, inspire, integrity. All of this sounds very, very good, but to bring this into a very sleepy seaside town is going to cause tension between different factions there already within the UK of Islamic people, but also between the people that live there. So this is why, unfortunately, we are a tolerant race. We always have been, but this is kind of pushing people to be really concerned. Now we've got the theory of change within that document of the one that I mentioned earlier, and it's the theory of change. They're pushing this whole theory of change. And the theory of change is really the NGO that's pushing a lot of this. It's a theory, and I'd like to just flag up this video which explains what the theory of change is.
A theory of change is a powerful tool that helps an organization articulate the connection between their actions and their mission using the language of outcomes. A theory of change helps you define your intended outcomes and the connections between them, identify the why and how of your organization, create a foundation for evaluation, program development, organizational change, or strategic planning, Communicate more effectively with internal and external stakeholders.
So what I'm seeing here is it is another sort of, if you like, agents of change coming in to really push an ideology, and it's also heavily funded, and we need to find out who. And of course, when you look at it all goes back to Agenda 2030. And what we're seeing here is a rollout of the infrastructure of Agenda 2030 within our communities that will, if we're not careful, end up being a bit of a disaster, in my view.
Sandy, thank you very much. Very emotive subject. The key thing is that we have to have dialogue in this country, and we have to have understanding as to what's